be continued immediately. October, 11:53 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Ah, the Knight Errant himself. Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes? I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least. I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself. I have to ask. What on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What's this professor business all about? Doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he? Of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago. Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. Who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heart felt sympathies. Ha 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 ha. As it turns out, Lord Van Zeeks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realise, isn't he? Yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock. And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man. You make it sound deliberate. I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling. Oh yes, in what particular manner? Well, there's Mr. Trevor, Dr. Syfe, and Lord Van Zeeks. Seems like everyone in the trial is linked to the case somehow. Yes, in fact I alone am not a member of the set. Now that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Excuse me? Dr. Syfe. Ah, Dr. Gordon Syfe. E. Stevens. Good day to you. Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Because Gregson told me. I think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel. I smell nothing but corpses and disinfectant. The policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Syfe. And I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened. That certainly won't be possible. Lord Van Zeeks, the Pandora's box you're warned about is the professor case. Please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about her from me. But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice! I've always felt I'm in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets, none at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you. She mentioned it too. This Pandora's box. What does it all mean? From what I can gather, Pandora, it was a peaceful world, but Pandora found the box, opened it, and chaos and all negative emotions and, well, negativity in general just flew over the land. Unrest and like. There's really no cause for concern, I assure you, when the trial resumes. The meaning will become all too apparent, whether you like it to or not. Huh? Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. Here to my seat awaits. I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much. Ah yes, well, one word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trial this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, Don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand? Do not falter, whatever may come to pass. Alright, I understand. Thank you. Good, I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be ignoring that as you know aware of the truth. What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially the bit about whatever may come to pass. It's time for the final chapter then. I'm determined to find the truth, no matter what. October, 12:40 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue? Prosecution is ready, my lord. The Queen. I can't tell if that be Victoria or the early days of Elizabeth II. Yes, my lord, the defence is also ready. As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectation. There seems to be a fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord. So then, let us begin our exploration of the defence's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter. Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuspels? Not at all. She is in the antechamber as we speak and ready to be summoned. Very well, bring in the witness. At once, my lord. Bailiff, show Madame Tuspels to the stand. Things are about to become a lot more intense. If Trevor is responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice on the doctor's side. And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork. Yes, the model of the professor. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present it's all we have to go on. State your name and occupation for the court, please. My name is Madame Esmeralda Tuspels. I'm a waxwork artisan, and the proprietress of the Madame Tuspels Museum of Waxwork. You'll have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon. Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Oh, there are two of them in the world. Oh my! What expression is she carving onto that face? A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this? Oui, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped. A waxwork model kidnapped? Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I've just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim. At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odiasman. But of course, I know him well. He is a part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all. Yes, but perhaps their faces are very similar. Are you suggesting that we should see now the masked visage of the professor? I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock. This is absurd. Pardon? I don't know what face you carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer. Indeed, the man's identity was never made public after all. The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information. Croix d'Orange. It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspel's principles. What principles? The family Tuspels has always prided itself on sculpting its models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. And voila, our principles. There's a well-known legend about the Tuspels waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspels family is said to have made a waxwork of the Queen who was executed. Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now. I believe the Queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually, at the guillotine site. You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. We Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects. Dear me, somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose. It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. And it has been my family's secret for generations. Do you mean to say that beneath that mask? The true visage of the killer is there? This is ludicrous. It's out of the question. Professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tuspel special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. Killer emerging from his own grave. It's a sight to behold. You should come. I think, madam, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You'll explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation. With pleasure. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on the rumour that Shot Society in London. The impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Tuspel's family's principle. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mould for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered. The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this? Oui, I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family celebrated for. Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do her? So you truly saw it. Face of that monster! Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. Tuspels would not be Tuspels if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures. I don't believe this. I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madame. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave. The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumours in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from the time. The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitnesses who saw it. Oh, Victoria. Yeah, it would have been Victoria. Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words. The public enjoy absurdity, monsieur. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum. Wait, what the? No, Mac. The university student who experienced the shocking event is Mr. Enoch Jebber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of its student dorms. That must have been how he knew. That was the best waxwork to use then. And that is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum. And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the great exhibit, wasn't it? That is correct. The professor you see before you here? Most puzzling. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. This waxwork brings Trevor to the doctor's side. There must be some reason for that which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I'll prove that I'll decipher Trevor. We're in on this crime together.
Hold it!
And that rumour would be a 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget. Oh, right, I know just what you're talking about, I think. Of course, it couldn't be anything else. Yes, that story will never disappear. The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my house of horrors. The rumour was whispered all over the city. And it was like this. I was in Newgate Cemetery, but in the prison in the dead of night after the execution of the killer. The interred professor slid back the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. The young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him, but an instant later he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder. The bullet struck the emerging corpse and he fell motionless once more. The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life. The corpse climbed out of his own grave? And then somebody shot him? Who was it? Nobody knows, even today.